Okay, then I'll start by saying a few words before I hand over to Dr. Lee. So, yeah, I think we've heard some fantastic talks today, and on a very, I would like to think, unique combination of topics. Personally, I learned a lot, and I hope you did too. I think it has become clear to all of us, at least here in the room, that the consideration of sex and gender-related analyses are crucial, and they should be taken into account or baked into the design of future research projects. As a journal, Nature Metabolism is doing its part by participating in the SAGER trial. Magdalena Skipper mentioned it earlier. We're doing this together with a couple of other nature journals. And we are more explicitly encouraging authors to follow the SAGER recommendations and comment on sex and gender analyses or considerations in their research. That means it should be clear in the methods what sex has been used. For example, even if you isolate cell lines from an animal, it should be clear whether that animal was, male or a female. And we even take it a step further by asking authors to state in the abstract if a study was carried out predominantly in one sex. So, for example, if a study was carried out only in male mice, that should be clear from the abstract. And conversely, there are cases where studies are carried out exclusively in female mice, for example, in the field of immunology. It's often the case. That should also be visible to readers. So the goal here really is transparency, first and foremost. Secondly, to raise awareness of these issues, and then hopefully, by extension, to get people thinking and influence future research. A couple of points that struck me as I was listening to the talks today, where, as we've just seen, that there's still not enough women enrolled in clinical trials. Sex differences in efficacy and as well as in adverse effects might thus be overlooked. And the physiology of women is not always appropriately considered in clinical practice, even in general areas such as cardiac diseases. Another point is that we need to give women credit for the research where credit is due. It kind of goes without saying, really, but as we've heard earlier today, women are still less credited in science as authors than men across all disciplines and career stages. That has to change. And last but not least, we need to recognize the importance of funding research in this area, both clinical research, but also basic science, with the goal of unraveling the molecular basis of sex differences, which often involves application of fairly expensive modern technologies. We need to support more of this research. So before I hand over to Dr. Lee, I'd like to use this opportunity to thank again our partners, GISTA, NRF, and KISTI for making this event possible. My thanks go out to all our speakers, some of which have traveled very far, and the members of the scientific and local committees, as well as everyone else who helped to put together this event, including the many helping hands outside and inside the room, tech support, and so on. There are too many people for me to thank in person, but the two people I'd like to point out are, of course, Heisook Lee, whose brainchild this meeting is, and Hye-Jin Kim, who's worked tirelessly behind the scenes to make it happen. So, and who both have been fantastic hosts as well. So thank you both. And with that.
Well, dear colleagues, good afternoon. We have finally come to the end of this Nature Forum on the theme of enhancing scientific research excellence by integrating sex and gender analysis. On behalf of GISTA, a co-organizing institution, I'd like to thank all of you for your active participation. Actually, I learned personally a lot, and my brain is full of, really overwhelmed with new informations. I'm sure that all of you are in a similar position. But throughout today's discussions or presentations, we have witnessed that diverse experts emphasize the importance of integrating sex and gender analysis, revealing hidden insights, and disparities in the fields such as almost all engineering and technology, brain science, metabolism, clinical medicine, and data science. Thinking of today's presentations in forum, I would say a key takeaway from this Nature Forum is that sex and gender are crucial scientific variables for better science and innovation across all domains. Given that scientific data biased towards the particular gender can result in skewed or biased artificial intelligence, it is imperative to rectify skewed scientific data and knowledge that have been created or generated without considering sex and gender analysis. Despite their critical importance, sex and gender are often overlooked or under-researched in scientific research. This gap of our knowledge must be addressed. Good news is that there is a growing movement to integrate sex and gender analysis into scientific research, as demonstrated by today's forum, Nature Forum. So funding agencies and professional journals are increasingly mandating researchers to consider these factors into their work. I take a pride in Korea's introduction of sex and gender research in the Framework Act on Science and Technology in 2021, which represents a significant step towards enhancing inclusive social values. I hope this forum inspires more scientists to incorporate sex and gender analysis into their work, and that leads to increased research funding. Together, we can make a positive impact on the lives of individuals of all genders, improving healthcare outcomes and fostering a more equitable future for all. I extend my heartfelt thanks to our distinguished guests and distinguished speakers and participation for their invaluable contributions. Additionally, I'd like to thank to our sponsors, co-organizers, committee members, and the volunteers for their steadfast support. Once again, thank you for your unwavering commitment to advancing research excellence. We wish you all the best, and I wish you good travel back home. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, Christoph gave me something to tell the audience. After this closing remarks, we are going to have a post session, which is going to be very informal. Let me just inform you in Korean. 이 클로징 세션 뒤에 브레이크가 30분 있고요. 그래서 30분 동안 밖에 나가셔서 뭐 좀 커피도 드시고 다시 오시면 very 인포멀하게 저희가 스피커들과 만나고 그 다음에 또 우리 슈미트 박사님 네이처 메타볼리즘 치프 에디터하고 만나는 세션을 여기 마련할 예정이에요. 그래서 자리를 조금 정리할 동안 선생님들 밖에 나가셔서 좀 간단한 리프레시먼트를 드시고 다시 오시면 좋겠습니다. 네, 오늘 함께 해주셔서 대단히 감사합니다. 고맙습니다.